Hello, wrestling fans, and everyone else. I'm Yuki Ray. Let's get to it. Let's see what happened on Raw. Now, first we start off with Vince McMahon showing up on Raw unannounced, just ahead of Roman Reigns, Daniel Bryan, and Kofi Kingston. He announces what he calls the wild card rule, where 3 or 4 superstars from SmackDown will visit Raw, and vice versa every week. Honestly, I'm not a fan of it. We just had the superstar shakeup, and it feels like that wasn't enough, so now for the past couple weeks we've been seeing new faces show up still on both brands, and they finally acknowledged it and kind of had to come up with a reason for the new talent showing up on both brands. The Superstar Shakeup was supposed to last 2 days, and then it would be done. Yet, here we are, 3 or 4 weeks in after the shakeup, and new people are still coming in. So now we have an official rule for that. I wasn't a fan of the segment. I mean, especially when you see Vince McMahon come out, you know that there's stuff going on. It's just a way of keeping people tuning in and staying tuned in instead of flipping the channel to whatever else is on TV. You know, I can't blame that. There's nothing wrong with that. I don't know. How it came about is kind of... And honestly, if you think about it, Vince really didn't say anything once he got out there. It was just a big shock because over the weekend we saw Roman Reigns saying, "Oh, I'm gonna be on Raw. WWE, shut up and deal with it." And to have it kick off with Vince McMahon, it was almost a sort of like, "Oh, whoa, what's Vince doing here?" In reality, nothing else really came of it. We did get 2 great matches. We'll get into those later. We saw Sami Zayn come out with his promo. And finally, someone decided to step up to him. Now, honestly, I wasn't really expecting Braun to come and step up to Sami. I thought a lot of the younger guys, some of the younger guys would, like Ricochet or someone that just came over from Smackdown. I mean, maybe Eric Young or EC3, maybe. But, we got Braun, and it was an entertaining segment. I kind of feel bad because he didn't get to have the impact that he had last week, talking about how he wouldn't sign the kids' action figure at 4 in the morning, and how all the fans feel they're entitled to something. And I sat there watching it. I was kind of uncomfortable, even though I'm not one of those people. I mean, of course I've gone to the Access and whatever, but they're offering it. Like, well, yeah, you can get an autograph. Like, okay, sure, I'll go. I mean, honestly, having Braun interrupt Sami Zayn, we just see that basically Braun has thrown his chance at winning Money in the Bank out the window, because a week from now, 2 weeks from now, Braun's going to be climbing up that ladder, and then someone in a hoodie is going to come out from the crowd covered in garbage and gonna distract him with something. Oh, who's it going to be? Oh, it's Sami Zayn. Oh, of course, everyone saw that coming. Well, we'll keep that in our back pocket for later. And then they'll probably end up having this feud go through Crown Jewel in June. Maybe even a little bit longer, but it's kind of hard because Braun is such a big guy compared to Sami. So what can they do that doesn't result in Braun just picking Sami up and just power slamming him into the floor? Backtracking to Seth and AJ, we saw them get put into a tag team match to face 2 opponents, and, when have we not seen that before? And it ended in the predictable way. Seth was in the ring with Baron Corbin, and like, "Oh, AJ, help me," and then springboards off the top rope with his phenomenal forearm. Baron Corbin gets out of the way and hits Seth. Big shock. I mean, I know they do have a match, and I know it's all about getting the better of your opponent, getting that momentum, but at the end of the day, we have Baron Corbin picking up a win over Seth Rollins, which now would put him in the hunt for a Universal Championship opportunity again. We all love when Baron Corbin gets a title match around here. That's something to really keep in mind. Honestly, what I was thinking they would do was put Seth and AJ up against Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson for obvious reasons, because at the end of the day, the same result would happen. You could just leave him laying and just have the match end that way. And it solidifies AJ's position as more kind of that heel. And not to say that he will turn, but based on his actions, we seem headed down that road just so that people will be cheering Seth more than AJ at Money in the Bank. I personally would have liked it a lot better. And then, it ties up all the loose ends. See, the 3 of them beat up on Seth and just kind of, oh, that's it, done. Now we're gonna have to deal with the ramifications of Baron Corbin pinning Seth Rollins. Might not be Money in the Bank. It might be Crown Jewel. It might be some other time down the road. And especially since Baron Corbin's in the Money in the Bank match as well. Well, you pinned the champion already, so now he doesn't necessarily have to win. So essentially there's 6 Money in the Bank competitors left. I mean, they'll be in the match, but you can kind of cross them off the names to win. Moving on, they've been using a lot of enhancement talent lately on Raw. What they've been doing lately is sending, oh, let's send Alicia Fox to just get, sacrifice to whoever, like she did with Becky. Lacey, they decided to get someone new. Local talent, right? At the end of the day, local talent, it's good for them. Hey, they get to say that they were on Monday Night Raw. At the same time, hey, you do have to lose. Well, they are getting paid for it, right? So, I like it better than, hey, let's have, let's have Alicia or, Dana Brooke just go out there and lose. And, hell, even the Riot Squad, right? We haven't even seen Sarah and Ruby, or Liv, for that matter, on Smackdown. It's good to see that they're using other people for that job. Perhaps the most grievous, the most heinous thing that happened on Monday Night Raw last night was the fact that Bobby Roode and Ricochet fought for Ricochet's spot in the Money in the Bank ladder match. Now, as we all know, 2 weeks ago now, Bobby Roode pinned Ricochet in the middle of the ring, 1, 2, 3, and yet the week after that, Ricochet was the one announced to compete in the Money in the Bank ladder match instead of Bobby Roode. Fast forward to this week. Oh, hey, that's right. Bobby Roode did pin Ricochet, and everyone's bitching and moaning and whining and complaining about that. Okay, well, fine. Ricochet, you will put your Money in the Bank opportunity on the line against Bobby Roode last night. And what happens? Ricochet just beats Bobby Roode. I sat there watching last night and I was thinking, no, why? What are you guys doing? You just changed Bobby Roode to Robert Roode. He finally got a win. He finally did something that was somewhat important. Everyone was like, oh my gosh, Robert Roode won. Bobby Roode won. He won a singles match on Monday Night Raw. Hallelujah. And then he just loses to Ricochet this next week. Come on, guys, you're shooting what's his name in the foot. Come on. Oh, I was so depressed watching that match. I didn't watch the whole thing. I was skimming through it a little bit, but I was like, yes, Bobby Roode can win. We'll put Bobby Roode in the Money in the Bank ladder match, and maybe he'll win. Maybe, just maybe. Just give him that opportunity. Ah, sorry, bud. We need Ricochet because he can jump off stuff and fly. But anyway, there's always another time for him, I guess. He'll just sit in that, he'll just sit there, just kind of on the shelf, and hopefully he'll pick up the momentum again next week or whatever. The 2 matches that I did say I'd come back to, though, Roman Reigns and Drew McIntyre and Daniel Bryan and Kofi Kingston. I'm sorry. Although WrestleMania rematches, and at first I was like, Drew, what are you out here for? You lost at WrestleMania. You fought Roman Reigns already. I guess you could fight him again, but that match honestly really did surprise me. It went on for quite a bit longer than I expected it to, and my 2 favorite moves in that match were Drew McIntyre catching Roman in midair out of the Superman punch, hitting him with the spine buster and hopping over into the pin. That was my favorite move that Drew did because I had never seen him do it before. And the other one was Roman Reigns hitting a DDT because I couldn't remember any time before that I'd seen that. Usually he'll hit a Samoan drop or a clothesline, something like that. But I was like, oh, I was pleasantly surprised by Roman Reigns using another move. So it's good to see that they're both still adding or still, they have tricks up their sleeve. The match was a nice lead into, okay, Roman Reigns is all tired, you know, from the match, and then look who comes out, Shane McMahon and Elias. Now, Elias is going to be fighting Roman at Money in the Bank, and it was nice to see him get his licks in, especially kind of recover from last week where everyone got laid out, the V-Team and Elias, and Roman Reigns just kind of walked away like nothing happened, and like, yeah, I'm fine. So it was nice to see how the tables turned a little bit, and also you build up the fan support for Roman where, you know, Shane started beating him up, then Elias, and then finally, you know, Miz came out to chase off Shane, but Roman still had to deal with the two guys in the ring, and he got his head kicked into the third row by Drew McIntyre. Oh, jeez. That you know what? Okay, I had 3 favorite moves in that match, and that Claymore, it looked like it hurt. Oh, I do not want to be, I don't want to be on the end of that. Good gosh. We're building everybody up to kind of get everyone excited for Money in the Bank, especially having Miz chase Shane holding the steel chair. He finally got to him at the limo, which was nice. But, of course, you know, heels have to heel, and he kicked Miz in the balls, so, you know, poor guy, but hey, it just makes us more excited what happens not only tomorrow, but, you know, next week on Raw as well. Now, finally, we get to our main event. It was Kofi Kingston versus Daniel Bryan for the WWE Championship in a WrestleMania rematch. Very good match. Very solid main event. It's nice to see them focusing back on wrestling, right? I applaud them for that. It was a very good match. Not as good, I don't think it was as good as the WrestleMania match, but still incredibly good. And honestly, I could have sworn, I would have bet you any amount of money that Kevin Owens was going to interfere in that match and ruin such a great main event, but thankfully he did not. Daniel was pinned by Kofi in the middle of the ring. 1, 2, 3, done. We can put Daniel and Kofi to rest. And Kofi actually has a title defense under his belt, which is very good. Meaning that, you know, it helps build Kofi like, oh, he beat Daniel Bryan again. Okay, it helps solidify Kofi as your WWE champion. And it doesn't make the Money in the Bank match look as much of a cakewalk as it did maybe a week or 2 weeks ago for Kevin Owens. So that is going to be one hell of a match. Can't wait for it. And I will see you guys tomorrow. We'll talk about SmackDown. Ciao.